and Fox Sports, the greatest collection of sports networks in the world.
We are Fox Sports.
Today on Fox Saturday Baseball, we're heading into the last week of the season, and every game matters. The Twins were the first team to punch their playoff ticket.
The Twins have clinched the Central Division Championship.
And guess what? The resurgent Rangers can join them. They have run away with the AL West, and today look to clinch their first playoff berth in more than a decade. Meanwhile, the Reds are closing in on their first title in 15 years. Can Dusty inch them closer today in San Diego, where the Padres are fighting for their playoff lives? And as if that isn't enough, today on Fox, we have the greatest rivalry in baseball. The Red Sox take on the Yankees in New York, where the defending champs are in a dogfight for the best record in the AL. The hunt for October is on Fox, and it starts right now. Welcome to the Gillette pregame show on Fox. Gillette Odor Shield Anti-Perspirant helps eliminate odor. Welcome to San Diego, where there's a playoff-type atmosphere as postseason hopefuls battle MVP candidate Joey Votto has the Reds on the brink of making it to October. Meanwhile, David Eckstein hoping to make a playoff run with his third different team. Hi, everybody. I am Chris Rose, and welcome once again to Fox Saturday Baseball. Buckle up for safety. It's going to be a wild ride over the last week. Only one of the 6 divisions so far is crowned a champ. That's the AL Central, won by the Minnesota Twins. The Phillies could win their 4th straight NL East crown today with a win over the Mets and a Braves loss in our nation's capital. But the Braves are saying, ha, we're sticking around. D. Lee with an RBI double in the 6th. Then Alex Gonzalez, another pickup during the season, his 23rd homer of the year. It's 5-0 Braves in the 9th. First place Reds keeping a watchful eye on second place St. Louis, which was on the north side this afternoon. And the little man, Sam Ford, coming up with a big hit. But I got to warn you about this next piece of video. It is graphic. Fold up again, lining it off the face of Blake Hawksworth. He was taken to the hospital for observation. The Cardinals lose their pitcher and the game 7-3. So that means the Reds' magic number to clinch the NL Central is now down to 2. Meanwhile, the Padres right on the Giants' heels in the West. And if Atlanta hangs on in D.C., the Padres will have company atop the NL wildcard race. Over in the American League, we pretty much know the postseason party. We've got the Yankees, the Rays, the Twins, and the Rangers. We just don't know who will be playing whom yet and where. Last night, the Rays a winner, the Yankees a loser, so Tampa back on top in the AL East. And there's that fight for the home field advantage between Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and New York. Well, New York could move into a tie with Tampa by beating arch-rival Boston this afternoon on Fox. A-Rod went deep twice last night. Now he's 6th all-time. Can he get another one? We'll find out as they take on the Red Sox and Adrian Beltre. Meanwhile, the Rangers can clinch a postseason berth for the first time since '99. Michael Young, that man, the 6-time All-Star, he's never been to the postseason party. He wants to get there with a win over Oakland. Earlier, our John Radigan caught up with him.
I mean, we're all excited. Very loose atmosphere in our clubhouse this morning, but we want to come out and play our game. We still have work to do. This thing is not locked up yet, but obviously we're aware of the situation we put ourselves in, and we're excited about the opportunity.
Have you thought about yet the length of time it has taken you personally to get to this point?
Yeah, a lot. And, hopefully it'll make it that much more sweet when we do get this thing done. But we're going to come out today. We're going to go hard. We're going to go hard and see if we can get this done as quickly as possible.
Some of you will see if the Rangers are punching their ticket to the playoff party as they take on the A's. Others will see the Reds battle the Padres out west in San Diego, but most of you will see the best rivalry in sports. It's the Red Sox and the Yankees. First pitch next on Fox. Baseball in San Diego as the Cincinnati Reds come a-calling on Fox. And, of course, this time of year, why not do a little scoreboard watching? The Reds could clinch the division for the first time since '95 this weekend. The Padres still battling it out in the NL West and the wild card standings as well. Hi, everybody, and welcome alongside the three-time All-Star Mark Grace. I am Chris Rose. And, Mark, it was a playoff-type atmosphere here last night. The Padres come back. They beat the Reds 4-3. And, yes, I did say playoff-type atmosphere between the Reds and the Padres at the end of September.
I don't think anybody saw this coming, Chris. It's such a testament to Bud Black and Dusty Baker and their coaching staffs, what they've done getting both these teams to pull in the same direction. I think one of these two guys is going to be crowned Manager of the Year by the time this season ends.
Well, obviously, Gracie, it's going to be a lot of fun this final week in the National League playoff chase. You've got the Reds. That magic number is shrinking. What about the Phillies? They could wrap up the division this weekend. The Braves are charging hard for the wild card. Don't forget about the Giants. They lead the West. And the Rockies, they've been sliding a bit, but they're still sticking around. The Padres as well. The playoff chase continues next on Fox. And here is today's starting lineup for the first place Reds, brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Drew Stubbs has been moved up in the order. He bats leadoff, followed by Orlando Cabrera. Joey Votto, the MVP candidate. He has not started the last 3 games because of a sinus infection. He's back in there. Then it's Scott Rowland, Johnny Gomes, Jay Bruce, Phillips, Hernandez, and the rookie Travis Wood on the mound. And they'll be facing 30-year-old right-hander John Garland, making his 32nd start this season. He is 14-12 overall, and he has breathed some life into this starting staff.
Yes, certainly a veteran guy. They went and got him in the offseason. He's done a great job as the old man of the staff at 30 years old. Isn't that something?
Well, of course, this game is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of the thirst inning, the beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. Well, the Reds take the field knowing that they can clinch a tie for the NL Central crown this afternoon. The Cardinals lost earlier today against the Chicago Cubs, 7-3. The Reds could actually clinch the division as early as tomorrow. Stubbs taking over for Brandon Phillips in the leadoff spot today, hitting .249. Went deep last night for the 21st time this season. And we are underway in San Diego. A called first strike by the home plate umpire, Doug Eddings. Swing and a miss, so Garland gets ahead 0-2. And that one a little high. Garland, a guy that was brought over in the offseason to fill the role of that veteran leadership, signed to a one-year, $4.7 million deal. And Stubbs barely stays alive. And just to give you a quick update, the Atlanta Braves did beat the Washington Nationals 5-0. So now the Braves and the Padres are tied atop the wild card lead. Stubbs is going to reach first as the base hit falls in front of Oscar Salazar. So the Reds have their speedy leadoff man on. In case you're curious, Mark Grace has not left the building. He does not have laryngitis. We just have a few technical issues we're trying to clean up. So believe me, once Grace gets on here, he's going to be talking incessantly. And we look forward to it. So now it's Orlando Cabrera, 265 hitter. And he has pretty much owned John Garland, 13 for 37 lifetime against him. These two are actually traded for one another. Back in 2007, Garland was shipped from Chicago's South Side out to the Angels. Cabrera, a veteran of 5 playoff series in his career, won a world championship with the Boston Red Sox in 2004. And a swing and a miss by Cabrera. Cabrera bothered by a strained oblique, hitting .302 since coming off the DL. Veteran that's been shipped around from team to team, but a well-respected guy in this game. Drew Stubbs reached base on a leadoff single.
Hi, Chris.
Oh, Mark Grace has decided
you?
to join us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you up here. Good to see things are working. Hey, listen, you got a loud enough voice where you just could have started screaming. We would have heard you.
And, you know, I think I get paid by the word, so.
You better start making up some ground here, my friend. Stubbs, 25 of 31 in stolen bases. But Mark, the Reds are going into the game knowing that the Cardinals already lost. And does that have a carryover?
Oh, absolutely. They know now that they can take a deep breath. They got a big favor from the Chicago Cubs earlier this afternoon, a 7-3 winner in Chicago. Now they They see that all the way across in the right field scoreboard, and they can take a big old sigh of relief and realize, man, we didn't do a thing. And before the game even started, we're a half a game closer to our dream, and that is a Central Division crown.
And there's another reason that the Reds are happy. Joey Votto back in the on-deck circle. He hasn't started the past 3 games because of a nasty sinus infection. There goes Stubbs, and the throw by Nick Hundley is not in time. 26th stolen base this season for Stubbs.
Well, Dusty just has so many weapons. He's got a powerful team. He's also got a very speedy team just under the tag there of David Eckstein. Good call at second base by C.B. Buckner. Stubbs, a big man that just can fly.
He's got power and speed. One of 4 National League players with at least 20 homers and 25 steals. Now Cabrera. 2-2 count. Back to Garland, who looks the runner back and
throws a balloon.
Yeah, the old balloon ball.
But a nice play.
So with Atlanta winning 5-0, here are your up-to-the-minute standings. The Braves and the Padres now in a virtual dead heat atop the wild card standings. San Diego actually with 1 fewer loss, and that's the column you always want to look at, is the loss column. So with 1 down, Joey Votto steps to the dish. As I said, he hasn't started the last 3 games because of a sinus infection. Dusty Baker told us he's feeling much better today. And also told us this lineup takes on a totally different complexion when Joey Votto is in here as opposed to when he's not.
Well, what he also does, he changes the way opposing managers manage the game. When you've got Joey Votto in the lineup, all of a sudden now you have to decide, I've got a base open. Do I maybe want to intentionally walk him here or pitch around him and take my chances with Scott Rowland, who is awfully dangerous on deck? Or do I go after him? Well, it's nice to not have to make those decisions when you're Bud Black or an opposing manager.
Swing and a miss by Votto. He did appear last night as a pinch hitter and struck out on 3 pitches.
And he loves to hit with runners in scoring position.
Hitting .368 this year, 3rd best in the NL. But his numbers up and down the board. I mean, 2nd in the league in batting, 3rd in homers, 3rd in RBIs.
I haven't seen a better player this year in the National League.
Well, that's saying something. We were here a few weeks ago when Carlos Gonzalez dropped by as that one comes in tight to Votto. Great with the glove as well.
Just a big man and a great athlete.
And a chance to give the Reds the early lead this afternoon. That one inside as well.
From Garland, a guy that'll never give in. He's going to stay stubborn. If I walk you, I walk you. But I'm not going to throw anything down the middle and let Joey Votto hit it a long way for a 2-run homer.
There goes Stubbs on his way to 3rd, and Votto fouls it off.
Boy, a good jump there by Stubbs.
You like the element of having Drew Stubbs at the top of this lineup?
I do. Brandon Phillips did a great job up there. But ever since he got hit in the hand about a month ago, it's been a struggle for him. So now Dusty decides, you know what, I need a little fresh blood up there at the top. And looks like so far a very good decision with a base hit and a stolen base and just creating havoc out there.
Votto fouls one away again.
The threat to go. All of a sudden now that opens up holes on the infield. If he does go, it gives John Garland something else to think about out there besides Joey Votto. And if you don't give Joey Votto 100% of your attention, you're asking for it.
And Garland paying close attention to Stubbs now out at 2nd. Some people will talk about Joey Votto's numbers and say they're inflated in part because of the ballpark he plays in. But if you look at his home and road splits, and his power numbers are nearly identical.
They are. He's been so consistent. Carlos Gonzalez of Colorado, very home-friendly. His numbers as far as playing in Denver.
Votto stays alive.
And Albert Pujols just continues. I think there just should be a rule. He can't win MVP every year.
He's definitely going to be in contention.
Let somebody else be happy one time. But he is such a pleasure to watch.
Well, Dusty Baker told us that Joey Votto is the Reds' version of Albert Pujols. That's what he means to this lineup.
That's a very good analogy.
That one just inside. So Votto has worked it full, which is something we'll see a lot with John Garland on the mound.
You are absolutely correct, Chris Rose. He's a guy, like we said, that is stubborn, and he will not give in. This is the 8th pitch of this at bat. And I would imagine it's not going to be a fastball. He's going to probably try to get him with a cut fastball or maybe a breaking ball or a changeup. Still paying very close attention to Drew Stubbs at second base.
Garland making just his 4th start all time against Cincinnati. Of course, he spent most of his career over in the American League with the White Sox and the Angels. Votto gets one past a diving Adrian Gonzalez. Here comes Stubbs. And the Reds take the early 1-0 lead. 107th RBI this season for Votto.
Let's see how he did it, Chris Rose. It's going to take a while, folks, but stay with me here. A fastball away right by him. Now he's going to try to crowd him in a couple of times, and he misses. Then a foul ball. He got it where he wanted. Now we're going to try to go away. Off speed. In again. And last but not least, one too many fastballs in. That was 5 fastballs into Joey Votto. He finally turned that one around, and what a difference Joey Votto makes in the Cincinnati Reds lineup.
Scott Rowland looks at strike 1.
It just seems like in the first 3 batters of this game, Chris, because of that score out in right field with the St. Louis Cardinals losing, it just looks like these Cincinnati Reds are playing a lot looser today.
Fouled away.
You can just see it in their body language.
And now the sprint player first, or in this case the team first for the Cincinnati Reds. First in the NL in homers, average, on-base percentage, and slugging. In fact, the Reds have a chance to be the first team since the 2003 Braves to lead the NL in both batting average and homers. So you're talking about a well-rounded team here, Mark Grace.
No question. They can beat you in so many ways. They're one of the best defensive teams in the game. You just saw Drew Stubbs. He was just penciled into the starting lineup at the leadoff spot. What's he do? Base hit, stolen base. Garland had to pay close attention to him at second base. Made a mistake to Joey Votto. That's team offense.
Way inside to Rowland. Rowland has a modest 6-game hitting streak going. Dusty told us a true veteran presence in this locker room. He knows what it's like to win a world championship. He's been to the playoffs 3 times.
No, he's a big guy. He's a tough guy. And a lot of times, if you don't follow his lead, he'll bop you one.
Well, this one could be an inning-ending double play, and it is. But the Reds get on the board early thanks to their MVP, Joey Votto. Base hit from Joey Votto. And it is time right now to check out the Padres starting lineup. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. The hot-hitting Will Venable batting leadoff, followed by David Eckstein. Miguel Tejada, 3 RBIs last night, including the 2 winners in the 8th. He hits in the 3-hole, followed by Adrian Gonzalez. Ryan Ludwig, Oscar Salazar getting a start in left. Chase Headley, Nick Hundley, and then John Garland. On to face 23-year-old rookie left-hander Travis Wood.
How about Dusty Baker going ahead and having the confidence in a 23-year-old pitching a huge game in a pennant race game in September against another team going right at it. Go ahead, I trust you, kid.
And he starts off with a fastball strike against Will Venable. Venable's batting average up to .252 this season. Puts it one inside. He is 16 for his last 27, and that's why you're seeing him in here because of a lefty-on-lefty situation. I mean, he is smoking hot right now.
You'll see Travis Wood. He's not a big guy at all, maybe about 5'9", 5'10" if you stretch him out a bit, but he's not going to light up the radar gun with 95-mile-an-hour fastballs, but he throws a lot of fastballs. He challenges hitters. Right by him at 88 miles an hour, but it's the location, right at the knees on the outside corner. That's what makes Travis Wood successful.
The 2-2 by Wood, just outside. Just like Drew Stubbs with the Reds, this is not the guy you want to put on base to start off the game, and Will Venable, he can fly.
Well, especially when your offense went out and got you the lead. You hate to walk the leadoff man.
Venable pops it up. Roland giving chase and catching it right in the on-deck circle, so there's one away. We're going old school baseball here as we take a look at the Reds defense. Second fewest errors in the National League, just 70 boo-boos on the season. And the infield littered with gold glovers. You got one in Orlando Cabrera, Scott Rowland, Brandon Phillips. They all have those nice little gloves that you've got as well on your mantle.
Those are fun trophies to have. And the importance of defense is these are major league hitters. And if you consistently give the opposition 4 outs, and that means if you're not making the plays, you give major league teams 4 outs a couple or 3 times a game, you're going to get beat. Outs are paramount. You only get 27 of them. Doesn't seem like many. Now you start giving teams 29 and 30, 31 outs. You're going to come up a loser about every time.
Well, there is out number 2 as David Eckstein flies out to Stubbs. And here's last night's hero, Miguel Tejada.
Well, what a pickup he has been.
Last night, a critical at-bat on a 3-2 pitch. A 2-run single, and look at Tejada, shipped midseason from last place Baltimore to then first place San Diego, and he loves being in this pennant chase.
Well, he's a guy that's been in this situation before. He's driven this automobile before. He's a former MVP, and he's a guy that loves the spotlight. He loves playing big games in September.
This one popped up and fouled away. Tejada hitting .271 in 50 games with the Padres. That one just misses outside.
You can see Travis Wood. He's got some polish to him. He can work both sides of the plate. He can bully right-handers inside with his cut fastball, and you saw he just missed the outside corner there.
Tejada to right. Bruce. And a 1-2-3. Hitting for the Reds rookie. It's 1-zip through 1. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. By Sprint, the Now Network. And by Ford. Drive one. Reds with a 1-0 lead over the San Diego Padres as we head to the second. Cincinnati took the field knowing once again that the Cardinals lost against the Cubs. So the Reds' magic number to clinch their first division title in 15 years has been whittled down to 2.
A win today and they can guarantee themselves at least a one-game playoff.
Well, you don't want to say that in Cincinnati. That's the last time they tasted a little success was 99. They lost a play-in game to the New York Mets.
A lighter.
Johnny Gomes looks at ball one.
I got to play in one of those back in 1998 with the Chicago Cubs. You talk about pressure, but, man, it was fun. It was exciting.
Well, we saw one last year between the Twins and the Tigers, and it was arguably the best baseball game of the season. Well, catches the corner.
It was a lot of fun. I was fortunate. My Chicago Cub team got the best of Dusty Baker's San Francisco Giants.
You were nice enough to not mention that in our pregame meeting today. Good job.
No, I would never do that to Dusty. Not to his face, at least.
Garland ahead 1-2.
One of the best people in the game right there, Johnny B. Baker.
3-time NL Manager of the Year. Trying to take his third different team to the playoffs as well. He would be just the 9th manager in big league history to accomplish that. That one catches the corner, and Gomes is gone. Well, Dusty Baker has seemingly done it all in this game, except win it all. Of course, he got the Giants close in 2002. Then with the Cubs, heartbreak in 2003 as well, and now he's got the Cincinnati Reds on the brink as well. 17th season as a big league manager, 1,400 wins. You hear players' manager mentioned all the time around this game. He truly is one.
No question. And you hear that term thrown around a lot. Oh, he's a player's manager. Well, what's the definition of a player's manager? A player's manager is a guy that cares a lot more about his players than he does about himself. And he loves his players, and he will go through the fire to protect his players.
Well, there's his son, Darren. You probably remember him best from the
famous Darren Baker.
Of course. He got snagged by J.T. Snow. We always knew J.T. had great hands over there at first, Gold Glover. And boy, what a great swipe he made in the postseason in 2002.
As he was scoring on a base hit, the about 3-year-old Darren Baker is ball 4.
So Jay Bruce draws a walk, and we take a look at today's 4 keys to the game, Mark Grace.
Well, for Cincinnati, breathe. Now they've seen that score out on the scoreboard. They can breathe a little bit and lean to the tape. It's like that wonderful Usain Bolt. You know, you get there and right there's the finish line. You got to lean across the tape to get that. And for San Diego, send a message. That message is, in Colorado right now, the San Francisco Giants, they're watching this game. So they need to send them a message. Maybe shoot a shot over the bow just to say, all right, we've won our game. Now what are you going to do? Put a little pressure on the San Francisco Giants, who are watching as we speak. We want to say hello to all those Giants watching right now. Hello to Bruce Bochy and all those Giants.
The Giants with just a half-game lead over the Padres. Of course, those two will wrap up the regular season next weekend in San Francisco, a game that many of you will see right here on Fox. So with one down, it's Brandon Phillips up at the plate. Hitting in the 7th slot, this low in the order for the first time in 4 years. Phillips has been struggling, hitting just a .145 in the month of September. Part of that due to the fact because he got hit by a pitch on his right hand. Ball squibbed to Eckstein. He goes the short way for one, and they cannot turn the double play. Boy, I was even surprised that they'd have a chance at Phillips.
Really nice play there by David Eckstein. A lot of second basemen don't have the guts to try to get the force play at second base. David Eckstein, we know he is long on guts. He could have easily just gone to first base, but he just gets it ahead of Jay Bruce at second base, and they almost turned the double play. No errors this year for David Eckstein.
Only infielder in the bigs this year with at least 80 games played and no errors. Pretty remarkable.
Amazing.
2 down now for Ramon Hernandez. And the former Padre looks at ball 1. Spent a couple years out here in San Diego. In fact, had the highest batting average of his career with San Diego in 2005 when he hit .290. Hitting .300 as he steps into the box today. That ball laced to right center, but Venable's going to get there, and that'll do it. So Adrian Gonzalez, the man that leads the Padres in average homers and RBIs, will lead it off. Sponsored by Budweiser. Grab some buds and be a part of the Budweiser National Happy Hour on September 29th. And now the Sprint player first for Adrian Gonzalez of the Padres. This is why this team does not want him leading off innings, Mark. .420 batting average with runners in scoring position, best in baseball.
He has, for the last couple of years, been basically a one-man gang for the San Diego offense. Put up the numbers he puts up in this huge ballpark. There's the shift right at Orlando Cabrera for 1 out. That's why you have advanced scouts, Chris Rose. You see Cabrera taking away the middle, right in his tracks goes that ground ball. That's all part of good defense as well, is knowing ahead of time where his tendencies are as far as where he hits his ground balls. All those guys work countless hours to try to help their organization. They do a great job. They don't get enough credit.
Well, Ryan Ludwig hoping to earn some credit with the Padres down the stretch, brought over in a July 31st deal from the St. Louis Cardinals. And let's just say it's been somewhat of a struggle for Ludwig. Hitting just .227 in 50 games with San Diego. Thought he would provide a little bit more protection for Adrian Gonzalez. He's bounced around the order a little bit. He's been third, he's been fourth, he's been fifth.
Just a good player, but yeah, a much better hitter than what he's shown out here in San Diego. Got him a good fastball to hit right down the middle. Took the swing he wanted, but fouled it straight back.
Well, let's remember, this guy put up monster numbers during an all-star season in 08 when he hit .299 with 37 homers and 113 RBIs in that lineup with Albert Pujols.
Right.
So he has been productive on that stage before. That one back up through the box and has the Padres' first hit.
Travis Wood tries to go upstairs with a fastball. He ends up leaving it in the middle of the plate. And that's the old famous chuck and duck. Bang! Boy, the head stays right on the baseball. And that's why they got him.
That snaps an 0 for 11 drought for Ludwig. So one on for Oscar Salazar, making just his 15th start this season in left field. And looks at a called strike. Something the Reds really love about Travis Wood. They say even though he's only 23 years old and making only his 16th big league start, Dusty Baker says no fear on this guy. Salazar rips one down the line, and this is frightening for the Reds because it's extra bases for the Padres. A one-out double, and runners on second and third.
Well, Bud Black, on a whim, decided to start Oscar Salazar. Oscar Salazar says, "Thank you very much, Skipper. I'll hammer one by Scott Rowland." And now, the San Diego Padres with one out here in the second inning. It's their turn to cook up a brew.
Well, I was starting to mention the no fear factor for Travis Wood, and I imagine that comes into play in a sort of situation here.
Well, he's got some wiggle room. He's got a base open with Nick Hundley on deck. Chase Headley, I kind of like the way he plays the game, Chris. He's just a tough out.
This one, is it going to fall? It does in front of Bruce, and the Padres have tied the game on a little looper from Chase Headley.
We were talking about a tough out. He's a switch hitter, a guy that's a difficult guy to strike out. He gets jammed right here. He still fights it off. He's just strong enough. Even though the ball hits off the label, he's strong enough to get it out over the infield. And the San Diego Padres come right back and tie up the ball game.
The clutch hits have been few and far between for San Diego over the last month or so. Just 10 and 12 in the month of September. And remember, Mark, they had a 6.5 game lead on the Giants as play started on August 26th.
And since then, the Giants have just decided not to give up any runs. Boy, that pitching staff has been remarkable.
Hundley takes one to center. Stubbs snags it. Salazar tags. And it's 2-1 San Diego. Well, next week, the regular season for Fox Saturday Baseball concludes. We will definitely have the Phillies and the Braves, Atlanta making a wild card charge, and also other games with playoff implications. So tune in next week at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on Fox. John Garland looks at strike one. So nice job by the Padres bouncing back after giving up one in the first. They put on 2 in the second.
And they realize that Travis Wood's going to throw a lot of fastballs, so they're just going to go up there looking for something hard in the strike zone. And then it's resulting in an RBI base hit and then an RBI sac fly. So good professional hitting by these young Padres.
Was John Garland trying to utilize his speed on that bunt attempt?
Well, I think he probably realizes that would have been the element of surprise.
Yeah, Scott Rowland is playing short left, so well-placed bunt, and perhaps it would have gotten it done. And speaking of done, Garland is out of here and back to the mound, but the Padres have a 2-1 lead. We'll return to San Diego after a word from your local Fox station. Saturday baseball presented by Gillette. Gillette Odor Shield Antiperspirant helps eliminate odor. Called strike one to Reds pitcher Travis Wood, who gave up 2 in the second as San Diego now has a 1-run lead. Swing and a miss, but this is a professional hitter. Mark Grace back on September 4th.
We're about to see why.
Look at him turn on that one off of Adam Wainwright.
He says, Cy Young? Helped himself. That was a huge series for the Cincinnati Reds, going out and beating Adam Wainwright in St. Louis. Something that doesn't happen very often. Hanging tough.
Travis Wood, the only pitcher in the bigs this season with a double, a triple, and a home run. That away. Now somebody's happy on Souvenir Day, and look at Wood turn on one, and it gets down, and it's going to be extra bases for the Reds pitcher. A leadoff double for the rookie.
Well, what a weapon you are when you're a pitcher that has the ability to help himself. A breaking ball hangs in the middle of the zone. Well, he looks awfully hitterish, Chris Rose. Stays back nicely, keeps the head right on it, and hits a rocket. Down the left field line. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, his second double of the year. And this is a staff that's got some pretty good hitting pitchers.
Doggone right they do. Bronson Arroyo does a good job.
Mike Leake, who hasn't pitched in several weeks now. What a terrific stick he's got.
Yeah, he could hit 6th or 7th in a lot of lineups. Boy, when you can help yourself with the bat.
Stubbs squares. Terrible bunt as Garland catches it and almost catches Wood off second.
Well, I would imagine Stubbs bunting on his own there, because I know Dusty Baker, he rarely has somebody with 21 home runs and 73 RBIs up there to bunt in that situation, especially early in the ball game. And because of that, the pop up, and as you said, a very poor bunt. And Travis Wood remains at second base. I'm a big believer in go ahead and drive it in the gap.
You don't like the moving them over?
No, I like moving them over, but I like moving them over maybe in, like driving it in the gap. Now, maybe later in the ball game, if this was the 7th or 8th inning in this situation. But it's the top of the 3rd. It's a one-run game. You've already shown John Garland that you've got the ability to get some base hits.
So with one down, Orlando Cabrera. Wood going to 3rd, and he's going to make it. Cabrera will knock to 1st, so there's 2 down.
Miguel Tejada, really nice play going to his right and throwing on the run all the way across the diamond. A lot of people thought he was done as a shortstop. Well, the San Diego Padres didn't think he was done. They put him at shortstop, and he's done a great job. He's making all the plays, as well as getting all the big hits for these Padres.
So with 2 down and Wood at 3rd, the Padres are going to take the bat out of Joey Votto's hands.
Can't understand that. And that's what I mean when you say this is a guy like Albert Pujols that changes the way the opposing manager manages.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but you saw this a lot. Didn't the people do this with Sammy Sosa up, and then you were in the on-deck circle?
Go ahead and look it up.
Other way around.
I took it as a challenge. If you want to pitch around, if you wanted to pitch around Sammy, go right ahead.
But that did happen, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, every now and then. And I didn't get a hit every time, but
did it light you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It motivated you, no question about it. You take it personal, and if you're Scott Rowland, you certainly understand. And when I was playing with Sammy, or when I was hitting behind Rhino, or when I was hitting behind Andre Dawson, and they were intentionally walked. Boy, I hit behind some good players, didn't I? Anyway, you took it personal, and it motivated you. And Scott Rowland is one of those proud guys that probably takes this as a slap in the face. Beautiful fastball in the inside corner.
Rowland, another productive year. His 9th 20-homer season, but he has just 1 bomb in his last 24 games. So a bit of a power outage over the last 3.5 weeks. Runners at the corners, 2 down.
Beautiful fastball this time to the outside corner. Well, right now, a pitching lesson being demonstrated right now by John Garland.
Nine outside. The Reds, with a win today, clinch a share of the NL Central crown. That's because St. Louis lost at Chicago this afternoon, 7-3. The 1-2 from Garland. Just misses.
Nick Hundley sitting about 5-6 inches off the plate. That's right where Garland throws the baseball to the glove. But Doug Eddings said, nope, I can't give you that much. Your name's not Maddox.
Swing and a miss by Rowland, and the Reds are gone. They threaten, but lead 2 on and trail it 2-1. Cincinnati Reds, and we are joined in the broadcast booth by Padres Vice Chairman and CEO Jeff Morad. Jeff, how are you?
Thanks, Chris. Great to be here.
Hello,
Gracie.
sir.
Absolutely.
Familiar face.
Very familiar.
Will Venable stepping into the batter's box as San Diego has a 2-1 lead. And Jeff, I'm just curious about your emotions here as we approach the last 9 days of the regular season. I mean, do you sleep at night? Are you just anxious? Are you excited?
Well, I'm a sound sleeper. I learned a long time ago not to get too high or too low. It doesn't mean I'm not a fan at heart. And, truth be told, I get a little nervous at times. But generally speaking, I try to stay pretty cool, stay pretty down the middle. Just went down and visited Bob Castellini and his wife and his son Phil a little earlier from the Reds and congratulated them. They're like, no, wait, too early.
Smart.
Don't congratulate us yet. I go, you know what? Congrats on a great season.
You got to be proud of what everybody accomplished. Not only the front office guys, but Buddy Black and his staff.
Buddy's done great. He's got a great coaching staff down there. They've really guided our young players and added some veterans, as Jed Hoyer and his staff have been able to add some pieces to the mix. Tejada and the like. It's really been a great thing to watch, and I'm excited about it. And it's great to be playing meaningful baseball games in September.
Doggone right. Get that empty feeling in the pit of your stomach.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Will Venable has worked the count to 2-2. 16 for his last 28 is Venable. That one laced to the gap. Bruce giving chase on the track, looks up, and it's gone.
These Princeton guys are awfully strong as well as smart. Bang!
Chris Young last night, now Venable today. Both all-leaguers in basketball of all things.
How about that? Princeton guys. That's about 410 feet of long ball on a slider down and away. Travis Wood, wow, I can't believe he hit that pitch that far. Yeah, he sure did. One of the hottest hitters in the game, Will Venable.
His 13th homer has given the Padres a 3-1 lead. Here is David Eckstein, grounds out to his opposite number.
We're not going to get Jeff to leave if this keeps happening here, Chris.
Well, let's take a quick look at the standings. The Padres start the day just a half game back of the Giants in the NL West. And, of course, you now are in a virtual dead heat with the Atlanta Braves atop the wild card standings. How much scoreboard watching do you honestly do?
I do a fair amount, especially this time of year. That is the one thing I'm guilty of. I've been watching scoreboard since April.
I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way, Jeff. You're a human being. You can't help. But anybody that tells you, oh, no, I'm not scoreboard watching, we just take care of our business, we'll be just fine, they're lying. There it is, right there in front of you. You can't help but take a peek at it.
It's kind of like the guys that say, I don't read the newspaper.
That's a lie. Exactly right. Where else are you going to get your news?
Exactly.
I got to tell you, you guys should show up in our booth more often. 2 weeks ago, 1-0 game. Jed Hoyer was right here in this spot. That's when the Padres scored their lone run, was when he was in the booth.
That's great.
Now you're here. I mean, just keep. If you want to shuttle in interns and stuff, you're more than welcome to do that as well.
That's awesome, as long as it works. So we're excited about Stand Up to Cancer.
Yes.
Can we talk about
Absolutely.
that for a second? I'll tell
What
you.
we're here for.
Our outfield walls, as you can see, are all full of signatures today, and our sponsors were good enough to allow these walls that have been being signed all year long in the honor of cancer patients and people who have died of cancer by relatives and friends, loved ones, etc. 22,000 signatures are on these walls in the outfield. And we're pretty excited about it. Stand Up to Cancer is a terrific initiative. Bud Selig and his wife Sue got behind the program early on. Major League Baseball made a significant donation to the organization. And now the Padres, in the spirit of our involvement with our community, which is very important to our organization, felt that it was the right thing to do. We've always been involved in programs that did research to try to find cures as well as to help patients with cancer. But in this case, it allows us to really demonstrate to the community our commitment.
Well, obviously an outstanding job done by your entire classy organization. Jeff Morad, continued success, my friend. Good seeing you as you guys
Thank you, Chris.
Best of luck, my friend.
Gracie, thank you.
So Travis Wood gets taken to the beach by Will Venable, and it's 3-1. TV. Get the best quality picture and sound for your flat screen with DirecTV. By Progressive, making insurance better. And by Lowe's. Lowe's, let's build something together. Back in San Diego, the Padres with a 3-1 lead, and its first pitch swinging for Johnny Gomes. And during the break, we caught up with Reds manager Dusty Baker, and we asked him to give his assessment of his team's play over the last few weeks.
Well, I mean, last few weeks, we've been playing fair baseball. We've been struggling some, fundamentally, and making some, costly, mistakes some. We've been playing hard. Sometimes we should play a little smarter. But the main thing is that our team is a never say die, never give up team, which will take you a long ways.
How's your team feeling about seeing that scoreboard and that Cubs-Cardinal score?
Well, they feel very good about it. But, the main thing about it is, Mark, is that we have to get on a winning, note ourselves. And, that's the main thing. I mean, you want to go into the playoffs hot, confident, and playing your best baseball. And hopefully in this next week we can get back to that point.
All right, Dusty, we appreciate the time. Thank you.
All right, guys. See you later.
Well, a nice play here by Chase Headley. The pretty pirouette gets Jay Bruce at first. And there's 2 quick outs here in the 4th.
Well, just a gorgeous play going to his left. Look at the range. He almost goes backward to catch this ball. Bruce runs very well, and he guns it across just in front after a nice pirouette. Boy, that's a pretty play.
So 2 down now for Brandon Phillips, who, as we told you, has been dropped from the leadoff spot and hitting as low as 7th in the order for the first time in 4 years. And we talked to Dusty Baker about the pitch that hit Brandon Phillips, and this pitch, Brandon Phillips is going to hit for a 2-out double. Guy who has really struggled, hitting under 150 in the month of September, and part of the reason why is because he got hit by a pitch on August 25th from Santiago Casilla.
Casilla throws 98 miles an hour, so you take 98 right on that hand, and We talked about it earlier, Chris. If you're a hitter and you have a bad finger or a bad hand or wrist, it is excruciating the first couple of weeks while you're healing, because every time you swing the bat, it hurts, and it hurts badly. So Brandon Phillips, ever since he's been hit, it's been a tough go for him, but he gets a big hit there to give Carlos Hernandez an opportunity to get his team a little closer.
So 2 down now for Ramon Hernandez with a runner in scoring position. But we talked to Dusty Baker before the game about Brandon Phillips, and Baker seemed to say that it wasn't all about the injury, but it was about pitch selection as well for Phillips.
That's exactly right. When your hand hurts, you don't want to swing at everything. You want to make sure you look for one pitch in one spot. You want one swing per at-bat if you can. You want to take the pitches that are off the plate. You don't want to swing at them because it hurts.
Well, he liked what he saw there and placed a 2-out double.
I like going the other way with it, too, letting the ball travel and just rifling it down the right field line.
A little gamesmanship between Phillips and Garland.
Brandon Phillips always got a little gamesmanship in him. Of
course, he was the instigator with the whole Cardinals situation, calling out St. Louis's team.
Said he hates the Cardinals.
Yeah, went at it with Yadier Molina as well. Reds got swept in that mid-August series, and then ever since then it's been a one-sided race in the NL Central. The Reds took off, and the Cardinals were stuck in neutral.
We even talked about that with Dusty Baker. Was that one of the turning points of the season? He said absolutely. Even though the Cardinals swept us at home, that was some adversity that we rebounded from, and we took off from there.
That one outside. Yeah, Dusty Baker said he likes his team better when they're not playing well, in the sense that we really handle adversity well.
He says they're resilient. You're right. And they are resilient. They've got a good veteran club. And they're going to be dangerous in the playoffs. Whoever draws the Cincinnati Reds is going to get all they want.
Swing and a miss by Hernandez.
Changeup 2-1 right there. A beauty from Garland.
Phillips on second, 2 out in the fourth. Well, what is going on between John Garland and Brandon Phillips? Do you have any idea?
Well, Brandon Phillips has got an enormous lead. And Tejada and Eckstein are not holding him close. I mean, he has got a huge lead. And I just don't think Garland likes him out there that far.
I mean, he's more than a third of the way to third.
Pitch misses inside. There's no way. He might be able to score on an infield hit from where he is.
You know, it's kind of interesting that most teams in this situation would walk Hernandez to get to the pitcher, Travis Wood. But we saw what Wood did in his first at bat, ripping a double down the line.
Once again, Phillips way out there. And that's what you're supposed to do if you're Brandon Phillips. If nobody's going to hold you close, man, get out there. Get out there about 50 feet if you need to. And Doug Eddings, home plate umpire, starting to say, all right, John Garland, I know he's got a big lead out there, but throw the baseball. Let's go.
Fouled away.
Boy, he got a hanging changeup that time. Tried to get him to chase a changeup, but he wants it lower than that. You don't like those belt-tie changeups. Those tend to go a long ways.
Back up through the box. It hits the second base umpire, C.B. Buckner.
Ball's dead.
So the ball is dead, and they're going to have to send Phillips back to third.
That is a terrible break for the Cincinnati Reds and a huge break for the San Diego Padres. That's the rule. The ball is dead. Now Dusty Baker's going to come out and ask C.B. Buckner what's going on. Second base umpire is right on your screen there. That's C.B. Buckner. And he cannot get out of the way of it. It hits him right in his ankle.
Well, what sort of argument could Dusty Baker have other than the rule stinks?
Well, that's exactly what it is. The rule stinks, but that's the way it is. And I think he understands, but he's also frustrated. He's probably telling him, pay attention and get out of the way.
Well, there's no way in the world that David Eckstein was going to come close to that baseball.
No, not even close. That's a base hit all the way. And, C.B. Buckner feels bad about it, obviously.
Now, is this a rule that they should look at changing? Shouldn't it be umpire's discretion?
Yeah, it should be umpire's discretion, but, yeah, okay. We don't know.
Oh,
Brandon Phillips might have tripped around coming around third base and not been able to score.
But he didn't. We saw him.
Well, that's true, but I think it's a tough rule to change. It's just a great break for the Padres and a bad break for the Reds in this situation.
Well, that's the bad news for the Reds. The good news for Cincinnati, they have a great... Oh, boy, here we go. Doug Eddings is actually now yelling at the Reds bench. But here's Travis Wood's double back in the third. And he was stranded at third.
We got some fireworks. I like this.
Doug Eddings actually took off his mask and started yelling at the Reds bench to quiet down over there.
Well, Travis Wood was a bunt attempt, and Wood thought that he brought it back, and he's getting barked at from the Reds. And that's it. I don't want to hear one more word. Now here he goes again. And now, telling somebody else, you think these Reds don't want it? Boys will be boys. I like this. This is good old-fashioned baseball right here.
Can you tell there's 9 days left in the regular season? Wood with a mighty cut there.
Well, you got a bad break from the second base umpire, and then now you feel like you got a bad break from the home plate umpire.
Well, this was the second time Doug Eddings calling time and just
I love it.
Giving the Eastwood stare.
Yeah.
Wood taps one. Garland going to be a tough play. He throws and does not get him. And look at the speed on Travis Wood. So the Reds do get that run home anyway.
And that will make C.B. Buckner feel a lot better about things. And certainly the Reds. This is a very good play by John Garland. He bounces off, barehands it. Well, eventually barehanded, got it over there. But as you said, the speed of Travis Wood, and a nice pickup there over. It's a nice defensive play, but just too much speed and athleticism from the young left-hander. Well, that's a big play right there.
How about the Reds dugout? They're loving this.
We have had a very entertaining ball game thus far.
By the way, how many pitchers beat that out in this league? I mean,
one that I know of, Travis Wood.
He's standing on first.
Maybe back in the day, a Mike Hampton. You know, a good athlete like that.
So now the Reds down 1, 2 on. Their leadoff man, Drew Stubbs, looks at one low and outside. Stubbs singled, stole second, and scored on a Joey Votto base hit in the first to give the Reds the lead. Then he popped up on a bunt attempt in the third. And this is all about the playoff atmosphere feel. You're talking about guys who are all amped up, and that includes the umpires who've gotten into it a little bit in this inning, literally been caught in the middle.
I love it.
And it's 3-0.
I like the fact that in baseball, when you're allowed to say some things to umpires, you don't get 15 yards and a flag. You don't get a technical foul. You just get a stare down from Doug Eddings. And I like that. I don't want to hear any more.
And on 4 pitches, John Garland has loaded the bases.
Already 71 pitches into this ball game, and we're not even through 4 innings. Aaron Balsley going to come out and have a talk with his right-hander.
Well, that has been a problem throughout the year for John Garland. Now 85 walks, 4th most in the NL.
And I think that's his stubbornness. He would rather get you to try to chase something off the plate than throw something right in the middle of the plate. Sometimes it works to his advantage, and most of the time it doesn't. Now an opportunity for the Cincinnati Reds, another veteran in a situation you want him. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Orlando Cabrera, who's had a lot of big at-bats in his career.
Cabrera, well-traveled in his career. 5 times he has made the playoffs. And now with a chance to give the Reds the lead once again.
Oh, my goodness. Doug Eddings not going to make many friends over there again with that call. You be the judge, folks. Is this a strike or is it low? I don't know if I'm hitting. I think that's low.
Well, the Reds with a very short leash right now with Doug Eddings.
Yeah, the heave-ho's coming soon if somebody's not careful over there.
Cabrera started his career up in Montreal, moved around Boston, the Angels, White Sox, A's, Twins, and now the Reds. Just off the corner. That one might have been a little bit better pitch than the first one.
Well, umpires just can't get a break, can they? They're getting barked at from the Reds now. John Garland wanting this pitch. That's off the plate a little bit. Can you tell I was a hitter?
Mm-hmm. Ball hit on a hop to Tejada. He's going to have to go the long way. Hurry, and just gets him by a half step. Some fireworks here in the 4th. The Reds tack on 1, but still trail it by 1. we have seen a lot of action so far on the diamond. We've seen umpires getting hit by batted balls. We've seen umpires jawing with guys in the dugout. We're ready for October.
We are ready for October. Emotions are starting to run high.
Ryan Ludwig looks at strike one.
You know, these dog days, you're tired, your body's screaming for a break, but you know you can't give it a break. You got to push it even harder now. And that makes the mind, well, it makes it a little cranky once in a while, and that's okay.
Well, Dusty Baker was telling us he felt like some of his guys actually want it too much. It's not that they've been lackadaisical or anything, as Ludwig way out in front of that one. He says that they want it so bad for certain guys that haven't been there. They just want to finish it now.
10 straight years of under 500 for the Cincinnati Reds. Of course, not only the players, that whole entire great baseball city of Cincinnati. They've been starving for a winner as that one's shanked foul. And guess what? You got you one this year, folks, in Cincinnati and Reds fans everywhere. So it's not just the players and the coaches. It's an entire community that is feeling it and wanting it badly.
Well, Dusty Baker told us when he took over the job, one of his goals was to make sure that people weren't just talking about the Cincinnati Bengals in the beginning of September. And he has accomplished that.
Yeah. Ocho Cinco and T.O. Well, let them have Sundays and we'll take the other 6.
Strike 3 there on Ludwig. And during the break, we caught up with Padres skipper Buddy Black and asked him if it felt like a playoff atmosphere down there in the dugout.
I think two teams in the thick of it here. I know that our guys are the intensity's in the dugout. I'm sure it's the same way over on the Reds side.
You've had a couple of emotional games last night and then again here this afternoon. How's your dugout? Are you guys amped in there?
We're pumped. These are the type of games we play. It seems like these games are common for the Padres.
All right, buddy. As always, we appreciate the time. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Okay.
And while we were gone, Oscar Salazar lined out to Drew Stubbs in center. I'm just curious, as we talked a little bit about scoreboard watching, but those guys know in that dugout that the Braves probably won this afternoon, right?
Oh, they know.
And now we're tied for the wild card lead.
It makes this game even more important. I mean, they're all important.
Yeah, but you lose one on June 21st. You're not sitting there kicking yourself.
Yeah, but it's still a loss, like a loss will be today.
But just mentally, it's different, right?
Well, it doesn't hurt as bad.
Yeah.
At the time. Oh, nice breaking ball there. One of the few breaking balls we've seen from Travis Wood. Having a very crisp inning thus far. That's what you want to do as a pitcher. When your team goes out and gets you a run, go out and have a quick 1, 2, 3 inning and get the boys right back in the batter's box.
Well, I want to remind you, Mark Grace, and everybody else out there to catch all the action of this year's Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and with our good friends at TBS. The excitement begins October 6th with the divisional series. That one outside. Travis Wood can sling it a little bit from Alexander, Arkansas.
Just missed with the fastball away. 3-2.
Nick Hundley in the on-deck circle. And he'll have to wait a full inning as Wood works a 1-2-3. We're headed to the 5th, and the MVP candidate is due up for the Reds. Good one cooking in San Diego. First pitch swinging for Joey Votto, and it's gone.
Oh, dear.
36th home run of the season, and yeah, they love Votto in Canada and in Cincinnati, Ohio as well.
Not only a long ball, but a very long ball. First pitch changeup. Oh, no. Way out of here to right field. Oh, man, his eyes just lit up, and he just destroyed that baseball. That now makes him 4 for 7 with a home run off of one John Garland. Wow, what a tremendous home run.
More importantly, it ties the game at 3. It just sounded different, Mark.
He's one of those guys that his bat makes a sound that you can count guys on one hand, that their bat makes that kind of a crack when it hits the baseball and hits it solidly. Boom. Way out of here to right field.
Scott rolling a sharp one hopper over to Headley. And there's one down. Well, we know that the Reds are most interested in wrapping up the NL Central, but there's also a nice little MVP race going over in the National League. And Mark Grace, if you had a vote, who are you circling?
Joey Votto. That man right there.
Well, you just circled about 2, pal. 2.5. Got half a Pujols in there. There you go. Can you try it again for me? Try not to draw it with your foot next time.
I'm trying to clear. There we go.
All right, guys in the truck. Jim Lynch, can we give him another shot at that?
No.
Is there
I
any
don't want
way?
another shot at that. Jimmy's had enough of that.
Our fine director, Jim Lynch.
What about you? Let's see if we can throw it up there again.
I would actually go as far as MVPs. I would agree with you. I think Votto's the guy.
Well, I think his team is going to the playoffs. Albert Pujols is not. I don't think Carlos Gonzalez or Troy Tulowitzki. Troy Tulowitzki, if you go MVS, most valuable September.
Right. They're not even taking a vote.
But Troy Tulowitzki has missed a lot of games due to injury this year.
Here's how you circle it. That's my finger. Everybody home.
That's your way. That's like a triangle.
Triangle, dude. That's a square. There's 4 sides on that thing.
It's like
where'd you go to college again?
San Diego State Education. At your service, folks.
You don't help your kids with the homework at night, do you?
No, they help me.
I was going to say, this is. So I'm gonna hire a tutor just for them because I feel bad. Well, Garland wins the battle against Johnny Gomes.
Bouncing back nicely after a game-tying long ball.
3rd strikeout for Garland on the day, giving him a career-best 128 this season. See all the scores up on our Fox box. The Red Sox blanking the Yankees, who all of a sudden
they're headed south.
They hit the schneid a little bit. I mean, that's a team that they're in danger of being the wild card and could end up going to Minnesota in the first round.
Might be chilly there in that outdoor. What a wonderful ballpark that is, though. Congratulations to the Minnesota Twins again. Is it time to call Ron Gardenhire a great manager?
Absolutely. I mean, you look at the stability throughout that whole organization. I mean, in the last 25-plus years, they've had 2 managers, Tom Kelly and Ron Gardenhire, and the philosophy has remained the same, and that's why they're punching their postseason ticket yet again.
Yeah, Tom Kelly was a great manager. Ron Gardenhire is, in my opinion, equally great. And what a great job that organization does, just continues to funnel great minor leaguers into quality major leaguers. Not a whole lot of household names. Sure, they've got Joe Mauer, but they've been missing Justin Morneau for half the year. They've missed one of the best closers in the game, and Nathan for the entire season, yet here they are again.
Well, Jay Bruce is retired to end the inning, but it was the guy who got the 5th started. Joey Votto, his 36th of the year, has tied it at 3. Shield antiperspirant. Help eliminate odor. Don't just cover it up. Joey Votto led off the 5th inning with his 36th homer this year, and that thing might still be going. Now we're tied at 3. Just a quiet guy who does it by example. Nick Hundley laces one foul. Got to get out of the way in a hurry.
C.B. Buckner now security guards having to dodge line drives today.
My guess is the Reds will not be yelling at that guy, though, if he gets hit by one.
No.
Nick Hundley with a sac fly that gave the Padres a 2-1 lead back in the 2nd. That went way inside, nearly hit him. Travis Wood's a guy that's going to get some consideration to maybe start a game in the divisional series. Bronson Arroyo.
He'll certainly get the baseball.
Johnny Cueto. Hundley. Base hit to left. Is he going to try and turn it into a double? He does not after taking a wide turn, but a good job by Johnny Gomes to get it in quickly. And it is time right now for a DirecTV game break up in Oakland. The Rangers could clinch their first division since '99, and Michael Young, his 21st of the year, ties it at 1. Remember, to see every baseball game in HD, it's 1-800-DirecTV.
Michael Young has just quietly had a remarkable career.
6-time All-Star, playing in his 1,502nd game as Garland with a good bunt. Hernandez takes it himself and moves Hundley up into scoring position.
Well, this is just a textbook fundamental bunt right here. John Garland getting a big ovation from this home crowd, and deservedly so. Watch the knees flexed, bat right out in front, and you just deaden it perfectly. No chance for anything at second. Helping yourself with the bat. We've seen Travis Wood help himself with the bat. Now, just by getting the bunt down, John Garland's turn to give him a better chance to win this ball game. Beautifully done.
So now Will Venable, who hit his 13th homer of the year back in the 3rd inning. This was a beautiful bunt by John Garland. Watch Orlando Cabrera, huh?
He's heads up. He realizes nobody's home at 3rd. So off he goes. 2-0.
Venable has very nicely slid into this leadoff spot. It has been such a sore over the first 5.5 months of the year. But look at Venable taking Wood to the beach. Actually,
that was not a bad pitch there from Travis Wood. It looked like it was on the outer 3rd, knee high. But Venable's so strong, he got those big arms extended and just hit it 415 feet to right center.
Well, we were talking about Wood, and will Dusty Baker give him the ball in the postseason to start a game? I mean, the guy he would be fighting with probably is Edinson Volquez.
Probably Edinson Volquez, who's throwing the ball very well right now for the Reds.
And one catches the corner. Dusty Baker, though, told us that, you know, Wood gives you a totally different look. I mean, obviously he's a left-hander, but a different pitcher than some of these other guys.
Johnny Cueto's been a coin flip. You don't know what you're going to get from him.
There's Volquez. Laced. Here comes Stubbs. Sliding catch.
Robbing Venable of another RBI. He gets a great jump. This line drive is showing some closing speed there as he slides and makes a big grab right there. The big man with some serious speed and athleticism. Nice play.
And some style points with the backhanded snag as well.
Style points help.
So 2 down for David Eckstein. 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Looks at a called strike. Eckstein trying to make the playoffs with his 3rd different team. 1 rings in Anaheim and in St. Louis. Stubbs charging hard. Cabrera going out, and it'll be Stubbs. So the Padres threaten but do not score. We are tied going to the 6th. Foam. Stop losing, start gaining. By State Farm, with 18,000 agents, we've got the best lineup in the game. And by Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty.
That's a big old smooch.
Brandon Phillips, first pitch swinging. Good play by Tejada to get him by a step.
Doesn't look like Miguel Tejada has missed a step at all at shortstop. Was a third baseman for Baltimore, comes over here and just steps right in. Looks like the old Miguel Tejada. Or maybe the young.
Well, here is today's Verizon game summary. Joey Votto making his first start after missing the last 3 because of a sinus infection. He's delivering a little illness to the Padres this afternoon.
I'd like to have that good of a sinus infection.
So a 3-3 game. Not on that board is the fact that C.B. Buckner took one off the legs that caused a near riot in the Cincinnati dugout. Ramon Hernandez fouls one away, and Garland's ahead in the count 0-2. Hernandez 1 for 2 this afternoon. Started the first game of this series last night at first base, and he hits one to the Padres first baseman, Adrian Gonzalez, and the 2-time Gold Glover makes the play. And right now, time for a DirecTV game break. Up in the Bronx, John Lester gets Nick Swisher looking. Then Mark Teixeira swinging. And Marcus Timms as well. Red Sox up 4-0. Lester with a no-hitter as they move to the 6th. Remember to get every game in HD, it's 1-800-DIRECTV. So John Lester.
Can you imagine a Red Sox throwing a no-hitter in Yankee Stadium?
That'd be fun to see, wouldn't it? I wonder how the Yankee crowd.
As long as you're not a Red Sox fan.
Well, I'd like to see how the Yankee crowd would respond in the 9th inning. You know, some teams always fans like to see history.
Well, that's
right?
true, but I think Yankee fans, I think even the little old ladies would be throwing hot dogs at it. They don't want any success in Yankee Stadium from any Red Sox.
Travis Wood, for the first time today, will be retired by Garland.
Easy inning for Garland.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And we'll see Tejada, Gonzalez, and Ludwig in the 6th.
Watch.
I told you.
Here.
I told you, man.
I'll trade you that for that. What do you think? I need both of them. Give me a little potato. Hey, Billy. Hey, meet Billy.
How you
Mr.
doing,
Hatcher.
buddy? All right.
Yeah.
Root for the Rams today, all right? I don't know.
He was putting. This is your only warning. One warning.
3-3 game. Reds Padres in the 6th. Heart of the order for San Diego, which includes Miguel Tejada, Adrian Gonzalez, and Ryan Ludwig. This was a team, Mark talked about at the top of the broadcast. Nobody was picking them to certainly be in this position with 9 days to go in the regular season. We thought they'd be shipping their big pieces off. Adrian Gonzalez, Heath Bell. Instead, they got a chance to add guys like Miguel Tejada and Ryan Ludwig.
Well, you had a conversation with Heath Bell in spring training, if I'm correct, and he's like, I'm not going anywhere because we plan on winning. Boy, have they won.
Well, Bell in that #1 ranked bullpen in baseball, probably the biggest reason why San Diego's been so successful at this point of the season. They have won 27 games when scoring 3 runs or less. That's the most in the big league since 1993.
They have been fabulous, anchored by Heath Bell, as you said. Heath Bell going to certainly get some consideration for the Cy Young. There's no clear-cut winner right now in the National League, but he's certainly going to get some votes and probably some MVP votes as well.
Way inside. So Wood has fallen behind 3-1.
Right to the inside corner with a cut fastball. Pretty pitch.
The 3-2 delivery by the Reds rookie. Swung on and missed, and there's one down. 4th strikeout of the day for Wood. Chevrolet honors the spirit of community supporting the 2010 Roberto Clemente Award. Nominees for the Padres, Adrian Gonzalez, and for the Reds, Francisco Cordero. You can cast your vote for one of this year's nominees at Chevy.com/Clemente, and you could win a trip to this year's World Series to see the on-field announcement of the national winner.
Gas right by him upstairs.
Gonzalez 0 for 2 on the afternoon. And struggling, hitting under 200 now in his last 9 games.
They need this big fella to get hot. And they need it yesterday.
Well, the Padres have one more with the Reds tomorrow, then 4 against the Cubs, and that'll wrap up their regular season home schedule. 3 hopper over to Phillips and 2 away. Then the Padres will wrap up the regular season next weekend in San Francisco.
Well, let's see how the youngster attacks the MVP can. High fastball, then outside corner fastball. Didn't he get away with a hanging breaking ball? But he had Gonzalez so sped up, thinking fastball, that he got away with the off-speed pitch on an easy ground ball. So the struggles continue for the terrific Adrian Gonzalez.
Ryan Ludwig 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. A lot of people feel like St. Louis's troubles started when they traded Ludwig away.
I think I'm not going to disagree with that. I think he was a very well received and well liked player in that clubhouse. Not only in St. Louis, but in that clubhouse. He was one of the leaders of that squad. And surprisingly was let go by the St. Louis Cardinals in a deal that brought Jake Westbrook.
It was a 3-team trade between the Indians, Cardinals, and Padres. And Ludwig draws a 2-out walk. The Cardinals at the time, they were really stuck for rotation help at the back of that rotation. Loesch and Penny were injured, and so they needed a starter to help them for what they would hope was a good run. And the Cardinals had that 1-game lead over the Reds in mid-August, and ever since then, the Reds just took off, and you've never really heard from the Cardinals again after that. And maybe a lot of that credit should go to the Reds although they've been limping a little bit to the finish line, just built enough of a lead where they could.
Yeah, they got out so far.
Yeah, could have a few missteps along the way.
They're able to do that, and they deserve the opportunity to maybe limp on in because they won this thing in August.
Salazar with a double in 2 plate appearances. Well, Mark, who do you like in the NL West with 9 days to go?
Unfortunately, Chris, 2 weeks ago I picked the Colorado Rockies.
Solid.
But a nice little 5-game hiccup for the Colorado Rockies has put them pretty much out of contention. So if I had to put my money where my mouth is, I would say the San Francisco Giants. And I still think the San Diego Padres are going to get in, either by the wild card or they're going to get in by winning this thing. But I think the wild card is going to come from the West.
So you think Atlanta's on the way out? Hop back up the middle. Phillips backhands and steps on second. And
yes,
that'll do it. We will return to San Diego after a word from your local Fox station. Gillette Odor Shield Antiperspirant helps eliminate odor. Double switch for the Padres to start the 7th. The new left fielder, Chris Denorfia, taking over for Oscar Salazar. And the new pitcher is 26-year-old right-hander Luke Gregerson, on for the 74th time this season.
Yeah, the innings starting to pile up. Luke Gregerson been one of many, or just, you might as well say every single Padre reliever, just having a terrific year. He has one of the best sliders in all of baseball.
Part of that bullpen that is the best in the bigs with a 2.75 ERA. Gregerson gets the top of the order in Stubbs, Cabrera, and then Joey Votto. Stubbs. And there's one down. Well, the National League pennant race is heading for an amazing finish, and this October, the 4 best teams will collide in a month of games filled with drama, excitement, and thrills to see which team will advance to the World Series. Coverage of baseball's postseason returns October 16th with the NLCS, followed by the World Series, only on Fox. Cabrera shows bunt and then pulls it back. He is 0 for 3 and has yet to get the ball out of the infield this afternoon. Well, Luke Gregerson moved into the baseball record book this week when he got his 37th hold.
There's that beautiful slider.
Well, visit your local Lowe's for details on how to enter to win a Scott's VIP World Series experience. One laced foul. Are you a fan of the hold category?
It's one of the many dumb stats that now gets thrown out there. No, I'm not a big fan of it. You?
I mean,
it just means you've done your job.
Right. I just don't quite get it. I don't know. I mean, is that really, I guess that's just a great way to measure middle relievers. Is it? I mean.
So if you're. That one's popped up. Looks like it's going to stay in play.
Adrian Gonzalez gets over there and squeezes it for out number 2. Well, here comes Joey Votto, and he added to his MVP candidacy in his last at bat.
Boy, I pity the fool that hangs Joey Votto a changeup. Boy, that ball was just tattooed.
You didn't just drop Mr. T on us, did you? I mean, come on.
Or George Foreman or whoever else has opened up a can over the days.
That one hit well down the left field line, but hooking foul.
Nice grab out there.
Attaway. That's why you bring the leather, my friend. Let's see it. Right in his tracks, huh?
Yeah, he just never had to move. Nicely done, young man.
Well, we do have the 2 best defensive teams in the National League out here, so it makes it
that the fans are golden as well with those mitts.
Votto, 3rd in homers.
Nice fastball there.
Well, how about our guy? Rusty! Getting the foul ball and then being the good citizen and giving it away.
Oh, that's great.
Attaway, Rusty. Part of our outstanding crew working Fox Saturday Baseball. One just off the plate. Although Nick Hundley didn't think so.
He came out of the crouch to fire it down to 3rd. That'll always agitate an umpire a little bit.
Swung on and missed, and an impressive 7th for Luke Gregerson. It is stretch time in San Diego with the Reds and Padres tied at 3. Wielded to transmit anything you want. Verizon. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Advil. Make Advil your number one choice. Well, Dusty Baker's made the choice to stick with his 23-year-old left-hander, Travis Wood, to work into the 7th. Facing the bottom of the order, Headley, Hundley, and then DeNorfia.
He's had 3 straight clean innings. So why not, Dusty says. And he really believes in this youngster. Talking to him before the game. Just loves the way he goes about his business. Loves the way he competes. Somebody forgot to tell him this is a really big game.
That ball fouled away. Headley with an RBI single back in the 2nd. It was just his 4th RBI in the last month. Part of the reason this Padres offense has really struggled in the month of September.
Well, Travis Wood thought he had strike 3, so did Carlos Hernandez.
And Headley's worked the count full to start the 7th. Swing and a miss, so Wood comes back and wins the battle. Time right now for a DirecTV game break from the Bronx, and John Lester working that no-hitter into the 6th. But it's Francisco Cervelli and Daniel Nava with a great effort, but he can't come up with it. So Lester has lost the no-no, but still has the lead 5-0 in the 7th. You a little worried if you're a Yankees fan out there?
No, because all you need to do is get to the play. If you're the Yankees, just get to the playoffs. And then you can line up your pitching staff or whatever the way you need to.
Well, but I think that's the question, because after Sabathia, is it still Pettit, who's coming back from 2 months on the DL and got rocked last night? Is it A.J. Burnett, who's a coin flip? Is it Phil Hughes, who seems to be tiring a bit down the stretch?
If I had to make a choice, it would be Phil Hughes.
Well, the Yankees could be the wild card as you take a look at the AL East standings and the fight for home field advantage.
As fans start to react after you poke your head out the window.
Ha! That one I like. What happened? Maybe this guy had a shot at a foul ball. Oh, but that's nice. Little brother just get pushed out of the way there, too. They're checking on him. He seems to be okay, which is obviously the great news there. All right, so here's what happened to the guy. Let's see. Falls down. Oh, boy. He's all right. He's giving the high fives. A little tear in his eye, but that's some brotherly love right there.
Sure is. Mom's happy. Everybody's smiling. What are your impressions of young Travis Wood?
I think he's been great. I mean, Dusty Baker told us that he does a lot of work in the offseason with Cliff Lee, also an Arkansas native, and so
it's a pretty good guy to follow.
Absolutely. So he has been very good this afternoon and has kept the Reds right in this game. Even after falling behind 3-1, he has slammed the door shut. Jay Bruce battling the sun and running out of room, but he has to reach back, and he does make that catch.
That could have easily been a fair ball as well. Nice play.
Well, it's been an interesting afternoon for the umpires. We saw Doug Eddings getting into it with the Reds, but here's what you didn't see before the game until now.
Hey, Caden, how you doing, buddy? How you doing today? Can I have that? I'll trade you. Watch.
I told you.
Here.
I told you, man.
I'll trade you that for that. What do you think? I need both of them. Give me a little potato. Hey, Billy. Hey, meet Billy.
How you
Mr.
doing,
Hatcher.
buddy? All right,
Yeah.
Root for the Reds today, all right?
Here, Billy Hatcher, root for the Reds today. That's great. Great stuff. And Doug Eddings, listen, they've got a job to do, but there's also the human side to this game as well.
Right. And they do a great job.
Chris Denorfia hitting for the first time this afternoon. Now, here's what happened at the other side of the spectrum. C.B. Buckner got hit by a batted ball that might have cost the Reds a run, and now Doug Eddings was hearing some chirping from the Reds dugout, so he gave him a warning. So got a little heated there as well. Denorfia lacing one to right into the corner. And a 2-out double for Chris Denorfia.
Well, pretty hitting there by Denorfia. Been sitting around on the bench for a couple hours. Now you come off the bench and just slice one down the right field line. Get the blood pumping a little bit. You get a runner in scoring position for the Padres with 2 outs. And one of the hottest hitters in baseball now with an opportunity in Will Venable.
So Denorfia with a little damage against the team that drafted him. Just his second hit in his last 21 at-bats. Travis Wood's 100th pitch of the afternoon is a ball. You have a feeling this might be his last batter?
Yes. I would be shocked if it wasn't. Just challenged him with a fastball and beat him with it. He was tardy on that fastball and shanked it foul.
Venable crushed his 13th homer of the year back in the third. That gave the Padres a 3-1 lead.
This kid's got some heart. Over 100 pitches now down the stretch in a huge game. What could be a division tying clinch game. He has been very impressive at 23 years of age.
Back up the middle. Phillips gets the speedy Venable, and that's a Gold Glove play.
Just give it to him now.
Padres give the ball to another competent reliever, the right-hander Mike Adams, on for the 65th time this season.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of minuscule ERAs coming out of the San Diego bullpen. Mike Adams just having a fabulous year. He's been the bridge, when healthy, to Heath Bell. He's been the 8th inning guy. Well, guess what inning it is? It's the 8th. Clock in Mike Adams.
He gets Roland, Gomes, and Bruce. And those shadows starting to appear in home plate territory.
Nothing quite, concerning yet, but give it a couple innings and it will be.
Roland 0 for 3 on the day. And now behind in the count 0-2. Adams, 32 years old. Born in Corpus Christi, Texas. Went unsigned out of school. Undrafted, I should say. Signed by the Brewers in 2001. Now in his 3rd season in San Diego.
Miles an hour with that fastball off the plate.
Opponents hitting just $192 against him. Scott Rowland has had a little bit more success. 2 for 2, including a homer in his career against Adams.
That's the cut fastball. And it just bent off the plate.
Fouled off the mask of Hundley.
Ouch.
Got to tell you, Mark, for a franchise that's right in the thick of the race right here, it's not exactly boisterous crowd this afternoon. You a little surprised? Because last night they were jumping, they were hopping around. They had 35,000 strong. The players, the manager said they could really feel it, feel that vibe.
Well, it's one of those beautiful Saturdays.
It kind of lures you.
Yeah, it just probably lures you more to the ocean than maybe to the ballpark. But we've had a great ball game.
Back up the middle, a one hopper that Adams snags, and there's one down. Time for a DirecTV game break. Up in Oakland, Jorge Cantu, his first RBI as a Ranger in his 77th at bat. That scores Ian Kinsler, and he would move to second on an error by Chris Carter. It's Rangers 2-1 in the 7th. And why is that important? Well, if they end up winning this afternoon, the Rangers clinch their first division title since 1999.
It will be shower time in the clubhouse. What a great job Ron Washington has done. Somebody besides the Angels in the West.
Johnny Gomes loops one, and it's a base hit in front of Venable. Eighth hit of the afternoon for the Reds.
First base runner in a while since the Joey Votto home run back in the 5th.
That'll bring up Jay Bruce. 0 for 2 with a walk, but he's been tearing it up. He was hitting .370 over his last 15 coming into this one. Bruce, just like his teammate Orlando Cabrera, struggled with an oblique injury in midseason. Looks at one that catches the corner.
Just a quality fastball to the outside corner. As a hitter, there's just nothing you can do. It just buckles you.
Well, this Reds team can match. There's no question about it. We showed the graphic earlier that showed them leading the NL in not only batting average, but home runs as well. So a lot of different ways they can beat you. They're as good a lineup as we've got in this game.
No question.
The question is, how will that starting rotation do in the NLDS?
And usually pitching wins out in the postseason. Usually good pitching is going to outdo good hitting. It's not always the case. Oh, man, what a beautiful cut fastball there. Right over the top of it goes Bruce. It looks like a slider, but this is actually a cut fastball. Goodness gracious. Great shot there on the side look.
Broken bat, and the bat dies a hero as the Reds have 2 on with 1 out.
A couple of soft base hits, another javelin maple bat. Don't get me started on that. But off the end of the bat, and that very dangerous maple bat goes flying out towards Mike Adams, fortunately.
Well, you bring up the issues with the maple bats. Twice in the last week we saw Tyler Coleman of the Cubs actually get stuck with one. Yeah, pierced with one. He had to end up going to the hospital. Thankfully, he checked out okay. And then Cliff Lee as well of the Rangers had one fly in the direction of his head.
Nipped his ear. I've been on my pedestal for 3 years now, Chris, about the dangers. And, you know, unfortunately, I beg Commissioner Seelig, please find a way to rid Major League Baseball of these maple bats. Ash is just fine.
Swing and a miss for Phillips, who doubled and scored back in the 4th. Yeah, these players have enough to deal with, and umpires as well out there on the field.
Exactly.
They should not be concerned with broken bats flying in their direction several times a game.
And that was not a fluke situation. It's not. We've seen it 1,000 times the last few years. Those javelins, those dangerous bats go flying like that. An easy way to stop that, and that's get rid of maple bats.
The Reds threatening to take the lead here in the 8th. As Brandon Phillips, who once again has been moved down to as low as 7th in the order for the first time in 4 years today. And Dusty Baker, I know, had a pregame meeting with Brandon Phillips to let him know he was doing that, so he just didn't see the lineup sheet and say, well, wait a second, I'm not batting the leadoff today, I'm hitting 7th.
Exactly. Brandon Phillips, one of those guys that really you don't need to have a conversation with him. Just tell him you're hitting 7th, and he'll be just glad to be in the lineup.
One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball, is challenging viewers to step up to the plate for your health. Go to AskMLBTrainer.com to get health tips from a Major League Baseball athletic trainer.
Huge moment in the game. Brandon Phillips just missed. Goodness gracious, Chris Rose, that was close. Be the judge? Yeah, that's a ball. It's up and off the plate. It's a good call again by Doug Eddings. Now it's decision time. Johnny Gomes does not run well at second base. Do you start the runners here? Oh, I'm sorry, it's a 2-2 count, not a 3-2 count. I got ahead of myself.
Phillips stays alive. Phillips, an all-star for the first time this season. Hit .294 with 12 homers in the first half. Just 4 since the break.
Having a good battle out there now, Phillips and Adams.
Joe Thatcher Left-hander getting loose in the bullpen.
He was having ridiculous success this year, Joe Thatcher.
Ball popped up. Here comes Ludwig. Is he going to get there? He does.
Well, a big at-bat, the biggest of the day. Let's see how it starts. A breaking ball, strike one, and then miss. 1-1. Now 1-2, and that's the one that just missed. Now they're battling. And finally, Mike Adams wins that battle. Nothing in the middle of the plate that entire sequence. No secret why Adams is having such a fabulous year. He just, when the chips are down, he knows how to make a pitch when he needs to.
I imagine he was watching that at bat. Certainly that swing by Brandon Phillips a little anxiously, in part because Gomes had floated one to center for a hit, and then a broken bat hit from Jay Bruce, and he saw that one dying in front of Ludwig. So the frustrations continue for that man, Brandon Phillips. Ramon Hernandez looks at ball one.
Hernandez, not your typical number 8 hitter, Chris. Came into the game hitting 300.
Yonder Alonso, one of the fine prospects in this organization, in the on-deck circle.
What a pitch. What a pitch.
Well, the Padres have really worked on shortening the game this year. I mean, you get to that bullpen of Gregerson, Adams, Thatcher, and then Bell. I mean, you get 6 innings out of your starter like they got today, and they feel like they're going to walk away a winner.
I mean, far and away the best in the NL.
Inside.
Tough to beat these Padres in a battle of the bullpens, and that's what this is ending up being.
Gomes singled. He's at second. Bruce singled. He is at first. 2 down for the Reds in the 8th. Way outside. Now, earlier in the game, Ramon Hernandez involved in a little controversy. Back up through the box, and C.B. Buckner couldn't get out of the way. So they sent Brandon Phillips, who had scored on the play, back to third because the play's dead when it hits an umpire. Phillips eventually came around to score on an infield hit by Wood. But that caused some anxious moments for the Reds, their fans, and the umpiring crew.
Yeah, got everybody a little ornery, didn't it?
Swung on and missed.
Really kind of a mistake pitch. But he got away with it. Listen to the crowd. Not a sellout crowd, but the ones here are making a lot of noise.
The 3-2 from Adams. Ball 4. So that'll load him up for Yonder Alonso. The 23-year-old rookie. And here comes Buddy Black. Joe Thatcher is loose in the bullpen. And we're going to have a little lefty on lefty crime. Reds have loaded the bases in the 8th in a 3-3 game. Game. The Padres have a new pitcher. His left-hander Joe Thatcher on for the 61st time this season. And the Reds have called back their young left-handed hitter, Yonder Alonso, and it's Miguel Cairo at the plate looking at ball 1.
Well, what a weapon you have in Miguel Cairo coming off the bench. He's just a winner. Every good team needs a Miguel Cairo type of ball player.
7 for 34 this year as a pinch hitter, and pops one up. Eckstein. Gonzalez, it's Gonzalez. Reds load the bases, but don't score. Help eliminate odor. Don't just cover it up. And sponsored by Napa. Napa know how. And by Bank of America. Get MLB banking only from Bank of America. Well, Travis Wood, young man, a job well done. 7 strong for the Reds rookie. And now Dusty dips into his bullpen. It's 28-year-old right-hander Nick Macedon to face David Eckstein. And delivers a strike.
Macedon, a hard thrower with a very good breaking ball.
On for the 79th time. That is the 3rd most games in the National League. He was on last night, gave up a couple hits, including the eventual game winner to Miguel Tejada.
Miguel Tejada. Oh,
Called
there's that
strike
breaking
3.
ball.
Whew, that was nasty.
You don't see David Eckstein get bowel locked like that very often, but he did that time.
Well, the last 2 Fox Saturday games for the Padres ended like this against the Giants. A 1-0 game, a strike them out, throw them out to finish it up. And Yorvin Torrealba all pumped up. And then last weekend in St. Louis, Ryan Ludwig, the go-ahead 3-run crank against his old team. An eventual 8-4 win. That shot came in the 9th, so they love that drama. So with all due respect to our friends at TNT, apparently the Padres and Fox knows drama. Last night's hero, Miguel Tejada. Shows bunt, pops it up, and nobody's going to get to it.
Well, that should tell you right there how Miguel Tejada is feeling. He's 0 for 3 today. You don't see him with his power try to bunt very often. He's a guy that's been hitting some big home runs. He's trying to bunt in that situation. Boy, if you're a Cincinnati Red, you're saying thank you very much.
And Tejada certainly took his time getting back to the plate. It looked like maybe he might have strained something a little bit, running down to first base. He's trying to stretch something out now. And here comes the Padres medical staff.
Well, he might have stretched a groin, something to that effect. Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
Well, Tejada trying to use a little deception by dropping the bunt. Didn't work out well for him. Goes foul and ends up hurting himself. In the meantime, tomorrow on Fox NFL Sunday, the Cowboys. Yeah, they're going to be desperate for a win as they head to Houston to battle the undefeated Texans. Also, you got the Niners, Chiefs, Falcons, Saints, Lions, Vikings, or Michael Vick and the Eagles take on the Jags, maybe even the Redskins and Rams. Coverage begins tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific with the Ford Fox NFL pregame show brought to you by the all-new Ford Edge. Drive one. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Well, Tejada fools them all. First trying to bunt, now ripping a single.
He might have been playing possum there. And I think he's going to need I think he's going to need a runner. It was all he could do to get to first base. He's saying, no, I'm going to be just fine. But the way he just ran to first base, there is no way he could score on an extra base hit. And Buddy's looking at him like, you're telling me you're okay, then you need to run a little harder than that.
Yorvin Torrealba talking him up as well. So now Adrian Gonzalez. Oh, he got a good rip there.
Oh, he sure did.
Well, let's take a look at how healthy Tejada is.
You tell me.
Well, I understand being a gamer, and he is. And he wants to be out there, but you're talking about a ballpark that yields extra base hits all the time, and a guy who can drive it. I mean, he is the go-ahead run at first base.
Just missed with the breaking ball. Shadow's starting to make a difference now. Pitcher standing in complete darkness. Hitter in complete sunlight.
And Buddy Black still checking on Tejada. Beautiful pitch there by Massett. He's ahead in the count, 1-2. And you know what? Bud Black isn't even going to let Tejada talk about this anymore.
And it's just the right thing to do. Look at the big picture. Go in and get some treatment. Get ready for tomorrow. Don't go out there and run around and possibly rip it and be done for the rest of the season.
So Everett Cabrera has come on to pinch run for Tejada,
who can fly.
He's scoring on a gapper.
Just missed again.
Now Adrian Gonzalez has been struggling over the last 9 games, hitting under 200. 0 for 3 today. Do you let a guy like Cabrera run?
Not in this situation. I'm going to let my big fella swing the bat.
Gonzalez leading the Padres in homers, RBIs, batting average. Cabrera 8 for 14 in stolen base attempts, and that one very close.
Dana DeMuth, a close call over there at first base. Cabrera with a big lead. No tag from Votto. That's the one disadvantage of having a right-handed first baseman. It's a much longer tag, and it takes a little longer.
Ball crushed to left, but Gomes is going to have room. And there's 2 down.
He put a good swing on it, but he got it just off the end of the bat to keep it in the ballpark. Gonzalez has great power to left field. So a bullet dodge there by Massett and the Reds, but Ryan Ludwig with an opportunity. Now, if I'm Cabrera at first base, I'm taking off. I'm trying to get in scoring position so I can score on a single. And you try to go early in the count.
Well, Massett has been working Cabrera ever since he pinch ran for Tejada. Reminder that if the Reds win this afternoon, they have clinched a tie for the NL Central crown. That's because the Cardinals lost 7-3 in Chicago this afternoon. The Padres now tied for the NL wildcard lead with the Atlanta Braves, who were 5-0 winners against the Nationals. The Giants and Rockies will do battle in a few hours in Colorado, and there goes Cabrera. The throw is not in time. Goes into center field, and Cabrera is going to work his way to third.
That's why you go in that situation. You put a little pressure on the opposing defense. You got a great jump, a poor throw from Hernandez. It gets past Brandon Phillips. Great jump. Phillips couldn't make the play. Scampering to third base. Now, an infield hit will be the go-ahead run for the San Diego Padres.
Ludwig up the middle, but Massett snags it in the air, and will just throw it to first just to make sure. So the Padres get a man to third, but strand him. It's a 3-3 game as we head to the ninth. Closer, Heath Bell, obviously a non-save situation, but he has been sensational in 2010. On for the 63rd time, he is 5-0, and yet another Padre reliever with an ERA under 2.
Just such a incredible competitor. Loves the baseball in this situation. Got a great fastball and breaking ball. And when he looks in to get his sign, who does he remind you of, Chris Rose? Let's get a look at him when he looks in and gets his sign.
How old school are we going as Everett Cabrera takes over at short for the injured Miguel Tejada? Now
when he gets back on the rubber and peers in to take his sign, who's he remind you of?
Seriously. How old school are we going here, Mark Grace?
Who does that remind you of?
Oh, man. I'm thinking. I'll get this.
No. Let's see it again.
Let's see one more time. That be Rod Beck?
That's Rod Beck. The late, great Rod Beck. 3-1.
Well, Bell last night came on, saved his 31st consecutive game. 44 saves, one behind Brian Wilson for the Major League lead. But he's in danger of putting the red speedster on to lead off the ninth. Stubbs up the middle. Cabrera cannot get it. So the Reds have the leadoff man on, and well, this is something that the Reds have done all season long. They have come back, and they have done it oh so well. 22 last at bat wins. Only Atlanta has more in 2010. They love the heroics. And now they've got man on who's got some serious speed and stole his 26th base back in the first inning today.
I would imagine Cabrera up to bunt in this situation. And then you force Buddy Black to make a decision. You'll have to walk Joey Votto, I'm sure, and then you give Scott Rowland an opportunity with first and second if you get a successful sacrifice. The aggressive way would be to maybe try to steal a base here and then sacrifice him to third.
Lays it down. Is it going to roll foul? No. Gonzalez fields it. And Stubbs moves up to second.
Beautiful bunt.
Yeah.
I think that ball would have gone foul, but I think if you're the Padres, you're thinking, you know what, they're giving us an out here. I think this ball would have eventually gone foul. But he made the play and took the out. So a good bump by Cabrera, and now the obvious walk to Joey Votto, and Scott Rowland gets another opportunity.
Second time he's received the intentional free pass this afternoon. Why not? He's only 2 for 3 with a home run, a couple of RBIs. Obviously very rusty after not starting the previous 3 games because of a sinus infection. I mean, I cannot wait to see the voting for the NL MVP.
Oh, it's going to be incredible. I still think that because his team's going to advance to the playoffs, I think, you know, it's almost a dead heat as far as the 3 guys in the years they're having. I think that puts Joey Votto over the top.
Well, those are video game type numbers for Votto all season. And so now it's up to Scott Rowland. Oh for 4 this afternoon. The Reds, their magic number to clinch the NL Central, down to 2. San Diego started the day a half game back of the Giants in the NL West. They share the NL wildcard lead with the Atlanta Braves. So huge implications this afternoon in San Diego.
Beautiful fastball from Heath Bell right on the outside corner at the knees.
late on the fastball.
Just gas right past Scott Rowland. A good fastball hitter in his own right, but just the location. Outside corner again. Perfect pitch.
David Eckstein holding Drew Stubbs very tightly at second base. Stubbs, one of the fastest guys in baseball. I mean, Eckstein literally standing on second on that pitch. Rowland fouled away.
Just an entire right side of the infield to drive the baseball through.
But do you like the strategy? I mean, you are giving a pretty good established hitter all that space.
And you're also pitching him away, which makes it a little bit easier for him to hit it through the right side. Just an enormous hole to hit it through the right side of the infield.
Fouled away again. Stubbs singled to start the ninth. Moved up on a sacrifice bunt by Cabrera. Votto intentionally walked. The 0-2 from Bell. Ludwig has it. Stubbs tags and heads to third.
He did hit it to the right side, but he hit it in the air. Ludwig was able to run that huge right field, make the play and get it in, but now Stubbs on to third base. And now if you're Nick Hundley, you have to be a wall back there. Any would-be wild pitches or pass balls, you've got to keep them in front of you and make them beat you with the bat, not with a gimme run.
Mr. 105 mile an hour, Aroldis Chapman. Francisco Cordero getting loose in the Reds bullpen. There's a called strike. In case you're curious, Heath Bell has uncorked only one wild pitch all season.
That's good news for Padre fans.
Johnny Gomes loves this sort of pressure situation, hitting .345 with runners in scoring position. 1 for 4 today. And he is behind in the count 0-2.
Heath Bell, when the chips have been down, he has just been a strike machine, and here come the Padre fans again. Oh, my goodness.
Votto takes second.
What a play by Hundley. Somehow he was able to come out of his crouch and, he caught that ball. It was behind him already. Game saver.
Wow, he might have caught the back half of that baseball. So now 2 runners in scoring position for the Reds. The 1-2.
Another high fastball, this time just able to nick it foul.
That last pitch clocked at 97, only 8 miles per hour slower than what Chapman topped out at last night. Just stayed alive. Wasn't it bad for Hundley? It's back there.
This is great stuff.
The Reds could clinch their first NL Central crown this weekend in 15 years. The Padres fighting for their playoff lives. This is September baseball. Gomes lifts one to left. The Reds threaten, but San Diego gets out of it. The bottom of the ninth coming your way. Shield antiperspirant helps eliminate odor. 3-3 game at the bottom of the ninth in San Diego. The Reds threatened with 2 on, but Keith Bell got it done. You love the emotions of late September.
Doggone right. He's loving it. Into the dugout he goes, his catcher. He knows he made a great play to save the game, keeping that would-be high fastball from going to the screen. And they live to fight another inning here. And folks, enjoy this.
Here we go. It is Aroldis Chapman time, the 22-year-old left-hander, fresh off a 25-pitch performance last night in which he threw 25 fastballs all over 100 miles an hour. Delivers a 99.
Nice tire.
Yeah, to Luis Durango, the pinch hitter.
Durango with almost world-class speed.
Well, Chapman has it as well. It's just built in his left arm.
2-0, and you wonder if he's okay to go after throwing 25, 100-mile-an-hour or more pitches last night.
Well, that included an effort last night against Adrian Gonzalez. He got him on 3 straight pitches over 100 miles an hour, and then also threw one 105.1 miles per hour. So Chapman last night, 105 miles an hour. That is the fastest pitch recorded in history, according to Major League Baseball.
Right behind Tim Wakefield.
Well, Chapman, by now you probably know the story. Played 4 years of professional ball over in Cuba. In the offseason, signed a 6-year, $30 million deal with these Reds. Eventually, you're probably going to see him in the starting rotation, but right now, a dangerous element out of this bullpen come playoff time, and Durango way late scatters the folks along the first base side.
He's just in survival mode.
What is a game plan against a guy that throws this hard?
Be quick. Start right when his knee goes up. Start your swing now. Breaking ball.
Oh, that's just evil. 86 miles an hour. Well, time right now for a DirecTV game break, and we're following the Texas Rangers as they try to make the postseason for the first time since '99. It's Jorge Cantu in the 8th, his first homer as a Ranger, giving Texas a 4-3 lead. They will clinch a playoff berth if they hang on. Chase Headley, 1 for 3 on the day.
It's so difficult to catch up with that good of a fastball.
Coming into today's game, 74 of Chapman's 159 pitches have hit triple digits.
And here in San Diego, they're not even putting the speed of his pitches up on the board in left field. I think that's probably a smart thing to do, because putting 103, 104 might be detrimental to the guys in the dugout having to go up there and face it. Almost fell down. And he missed. It's 2-2.
So Chapman working on back-to-back days for the Reds. The 2-2. Inside.
Like the fastball there. That's just hanging on to a fastball a little too long. And unfortunately, Carlos Hernandez took the brunt of that one. Good at bat there by Headley.
One out walk, and that'll bring up Nick Hundley. May of '09, Hundley, a game-ending solo shot against Micah Owings of these Reds, ending a 5-hour, 14-minute, 16-inning game. It's the only walk-off of his career. Can he duplicate that feat against the rookie phenom Aroldis Chapman?
Brian Price on the phone. He also knows that Chapman was a busy man last night. So the Reds bullpen getting busy.
Looks like Jordan Smith's going to start getting loose. I'm not so sure I'd like to be Joey Votto catching that throw at first base
in
either.
the shadows, exactly.
Headley can run. 17 of 22 in stolen bases.
That is a very good percentage. Pretty good move Chapman has.
You know, Mark, there was some talk recently. Somebody asked Dusty Baker how Coco Cordero's been struggling in the closer's role in the month of September, whether or not he would consider putting Chapman in that closer's role.
Well, Coco Cordero has done a very good job for the Cincinnati Reds. He's done very well his whole career. He hit some speed bumps in the last month. Fastball right down the middle. And Chapman got an opportunity last handful of days ago. It didn't go so well in the closer role.
Yeah, Baker's response was pretty much, why should I ruin two guys? If Chapman doesn't succeed, then I've taken the job away from Cordero as well. He knows he's going to need both to make a deep run in October.
Hard to see how this kind of stuff would ever be ruined.
Well, that is Jordan Smith. The right-hander, Chris DeNorfia, is in the on-deck circle. Way outside.
I wonder if fatigue from last night starting to settle in. Talking with Marty Brenneman, the Hall of Fame radio broadcaster for the Cincinnati Reds, and I was asking him about Chapman and what kind of kid he is. He said he's a delightful kid, easy to get along with. There's Marty. He said, and he loves capitalism. He's already got a Lamborghini and a Mercedes.
The 2-1. Nope, Chapman's going to check on Headley. Hundley to left. Gomes. 2 down.
Oh, he just missed it. Got the pitch he wanted, took the swing he wanted, but he just missed it in on him a little bit. Let's take a look at how it went down. Strike one, and then missed with a breaking ball. Missed badly with a fastball. And, boy, you can see he got the pitch he wanted, took the swing he wanted, and you can see his reaction. Oh, no.
So 2 down for Chris DeNorfia, who doubled in his only plate appearance back in the 7th. DeNorfia, a 19th round pick of the Cincinnati Reds back in 2002. Played a couple of years in Cincinnati, had Tommy John surgery in 2007. Spent part of 3 seasons with the Oakland A's, and now his first year in San Diego had been going quite well until the last few weeks. This one under the glove of the Gold Glover, Scott Rowland, and into the corner. And here comes Headley. He's rounded third. The throw by Cabrera is not in time, and the Padres have won in another walk-off off Buck.
Underneath the glove of the sure-handed Scott Rowland. Gomes does a great job of getting it in, but it's too late. The 11th walk-off win for the San Diego Padres. Bring him home, bring him home. Chase Headley on his horse.
And he might be running all the way into October. Under the glove of the 7-time Gold Glover. And the Padres pull even with the Giants atop the National League West.
And the Giants have watched this. They just got a message sent to them from the San Diego Padres.
Padres win it 4-3. We will be back to wrap things up from happy San Diego right after this.